Colton, how good is it just to have, I mean, most of you all back and, particularly since, Siraki, I mean, he was a starter at the beginning of last year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to have all the whole line back, and like such as like last year, like we were all trying to figure out ourselves, put all the pieces together, and like midway through the year, we got that finished. Yeah, we lost Campbell. We were able to fill him in with Caden this year. I mean, so far it's going great. Great to like have to not get the sense of like, oh, this is our first time being together. Like all the pieces are still together. It's wonderful being able to be on the same page. It's a great deal.
How much of a leader do you feel like on the line as the longest tenured starter and all that fun stuff? Like, do you take that upon yourself to lead, a senior group?
Oh, of course. I do think that each of us have our certain jobs. We all have to do our like 1 of 11 as a whole entire team. I think that's what gets us going. We either bring the energy, do our job, and just keep on rolling. That's what we do. But I do feel like each one of us has a big factor to this offense, and that's why we performed last year the way we did.
The relationship between a quarterback and a center is obviously very important, but you've seen Blake, you've seen DeQuan, now you've seen Sawyer. I guess how do they differ, and like how has your relationship with Sawyer grown over the last year or so?
Right. Yeah. So I play with Shape. Great guy. Great dude. Off and on the field. Love to talk. One of the boys. DQ. Same thing. Unfortunately, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty happy that Sawyer stepped up, did his thing like he always has. Always brings energy during the team meetings. Like we have like workouts and stuff. Always being that guy. Always having the same exact personality. Whether it's in chapel, whether it's outside, away from here, coming in, exact same dude, amazing guy, and there's nothing really much for him, but he's a good dude.
Can you give an example for like the layman, like me, what staying in tune and staying in sync on the offensive line looks like in this offense?
Yeah, so I would say, such as like last year, you can see that the pieces really didn't fit a little bit. Communication wise or like technicality a little bit wise, but halfway through the year you've seen that we kept on rolling. We were all on the same page, making our calls, same footwork, we're getting in line with each other, and it's also like hanging out outside of football as well. I don't believe that we had that very much last year, earlier in the season, and I believe that you kind of need that as an O-line, as a union, and I believe that's what we have now. And we're able to work off last year, off of what we did right, and correct the things we did wrong, And I believe that just being together as an O-line, as an offense, to keep this thing rolling is a good deal. So,
can you talk about the chemistry with your O-line after the hot end of the season last year, coming into this season? You guys prepare for Auburn. How does that chemistry feel? Have you taken over some of that feeling from last year? Do you feel like you guys have started kind of a new sense of a group?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, last year. We're focused on this year right now, one step at a time. We all have like a lot of new guys coming in and out as a whole entire team, but as an offensive line in general, we've taken a step forward for sure. Like I said earlier, like looking at the things we did wrong, obviously correcting those right now, and we're getting like almost like a jump start to the season because like we're just now trying to input stuff from last year with like Spav and Miller as an offensive line, and now we have the whole entire package together. And so it's doing really well. Yeah.
Because y'all didn't have to replace many starters, are y'all able to focus on like more of the little things, maybe more of the penalties already, like eliminating some small negatives, stuff like that can really derail a drive?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, penalties on your like personal self. I mean, that's what you're talking about today. If you the first game. If you win the first game, it's not the fact that you lose, if that makes sense. So the first game of the season, it's not about if you won or lost. Like if you win the game, that's the team that had their own personal, that had a better pre-snap penalty, you know what I'm saying? Like holdings, offsides, like occurring things that should not happen in a game. I believe that that's a big factor in who wins and loses games because that's it. If you have like 5 false starts, that puts you back, And so you really can't have that. And I believe that is a big factor in the way we performed last year is that we can't have that kind of self mentality to pre-snap penalties. You know what I mean? So
Kind of like you don't beat you beat yourselves week one more than you necessarily get beat.
correct, exactly. Yeah.
How much of this offense relies on y'all as a unit to make calls on protections, and how much does it rely on Sawyer and folks in the backfield?
Right. So Saul does most of the things. You know, I just communicate to the O-line on where combos are going, or like our pass pro. If I see something a little extra to the right, I'll be like, hey, we need to go there. You know. But Saul put us in the best situation we can be in, you know. And so if Saul sees something, I promise you we're in the right thing. And so I'm doing what I can for this O-line to put us in the right position. But at the end of the day, I believe that Saul can lead us as well. So
I think Sawyer was talking about that you battled through some injuries, you know, broken fingers, like that kind of stuff. Like, how important is it to you to stay ready even if you're not 100%, you know,
right.
the entire time?
Without a doubt. I mean, sometimes you got to play through some things that you obviously don't see happening. You got to have that little bit of grit to you and keep on going. But like I said, like earlier, I believe we were talking about this yesterday or something like that. We're only like one play away from someone else stepping up, you know. And so all these younger guys, all these like guys that are practicing right now, they're practicing as if they're a starter, you know. We're all at the same standard. We're all on the same mindset, you know, because like we all want to go and be the best offensive line in the nation. We all want to win that Joe Moore Award, and so that's what our goal is right now. And I believe that the younger guys are going to be able to step up with no matter what. Whenever a certain situation happens, one guy goes out, second guy comes in, just as good. You know what I mean? And so that's our mindset right now.
Is that where this group is maybe better than last year? I mean, the guys behind you. I mean, y'all have got more depth, more guys that can go in.
Oh, of course. I believe like last year, our second string, I believe it was like kind of iffy, if that makes sense.
Right.
But us coming off this year and having the guys behind us, like some new guys coming in, stepping up, I mean, it is insane like how much they're retaining in meetings and how much they're looking at each other during practices. And some of us older guys are trying to help the little like the younger guys and try to help them step up, and they need to be just as good as the standard, you know. They can't be okay with they can't be complacent. Like they can't be okay with doing the exact same thing over and over again, and they gotta get better. They can't just get bored, if that makes sense. And so I believe that the younger guys right now have stepped up and are ready to rock and roll whenever their time comes.
Yeah, Ryan, I guess particularly for you, I mean, how much more prepared maybe are you going into this season? I mean, obviously last year was the first year to start, first year to play a whole lot. How much more prepared are you now?
Tenfold. I think the beginning of last season, I really used it kind of to figure out what kind of player I wanted to be, kind of figure out how these opponents were going to be, because I'd been going against our defense for the last 3 years. So I was playing against new guys for the first time. And this year, after they bring in a lot of guys on the defense and kind of a full year of knowing that I'm going to be the guy and preparing that way, I think I'm really prepared.
What are y'all's goals for the season? Like, you know, Coleton was talking about some pretty prestigious awards. Like, have you been talking about that openly, Joe Moore Award and whatnot?
Since January. And another goal is win a lot of games, you know, hopefully make the CFP, end up with a national championship Big 12 title. But as an offensive line, we want to be the best offensive line we can be. We want to win all the awards. Omar's now looking at the Outland Trophy, you know. We're all aiming for stuff like that. And so we have we're striving for a lot of great things right now.
I know Sidney moved in there about 5 or 6 weeks in, but was that kind of the thing that clicked last year, or was it just a matter of y'all kind of getting used to each other and that kind of thing?
I think a lot of things clicked. You know, an offense doesn't rely on one guy and one guy not doing his job. I think it certainly helps. Me and Sidney were really comfortable. We were competing in the spring. We have competitor mindsets. We had played against, in the fall, that fall camp, but when he had moved in, we had played already together, and we kind of went seamlessly together, and we just kind of took off from there.
How important was y'all clicking? How important was Coleton to that? You know, it seems like he's the longest tenured starter amongst y'all, and you know, how much does he mean to the group, and how important was he to y'all's success last year?
Means a lot to the group. You know, we can't start a play without him doing the right thing, and he's helping us ID things. He sees things a little bit differently than we do on the edges, and so with him helping us and me and Sidney kind of getting used to each other still, when he came in to start that first game that he did, he helped a lot. You know, just being able to relay information to me, I relay information to Sidney, Sidney relays everything back, and so helped a lot just to have everyone on the same page.
After you sat for as long as you did, is it easy to kind of look at some of the younger guys and tell them, hey, like this is what can happen, like be ready?
100%. I was telling Craig that we should pull up some of my freshman year fall camp tape to show them how much easier or how much better they're doing than I was, because I was pretty freaking bad. And so, with the guys and how they're progressing so fast, and I see a lot of really good, bright future for them, and I'm showing them that, like, just take your time and don't get frustrated with the little things. Don't get stuck on not improving tenfold every day, and that they can do it eventually.
Does it feel like this? Playbook is even more wide open than it was a year ago, under the first year of SPAB, or is it similar? Are we adding new things? What does it feel like?
I wouldn't say more wide open. I definitely think that Sawyer has a little bit more freedom. I would also say that we have a better understanding of everything, and so that, at the offensive line position, we can check things quicker, and Sawyer doesn't exactly have to tell us where to put things, and that makes it easier on him because then he can decide what to do more freely.
How would you describe Mason Miller as a coach? It seems like at the same time he's like the coolest guy, but also the most intense guy. What does he like to play for?
He's really good to play for. He gets fiery. He always says, listen to my words, not my tone. And so you can tell that he might be upset, but he's speaking from the heart, and he never is going to lie to you. And so he's telling you the truth. He's telling you how to improve. His tone is just how his emotions are. And so we all kind of learned that listen to his words, not his emotions. We love playing for him.
Is there anything that you guys as a unit are bringing to the table that's new and fresh, like maybe a new mindset, new techniques, things like that you haven't had in the past couple of years?
I wouldn't say anything new, really. I would say just we're refining a lot of the little details. That's how you lose at the offensive line position. It's hand placement here, foot leverage there, head placement. And so we're trying to refine those details and be really good at everything.
So I guess what the comfortable level, just in terms of, you guys have played together. Caden's now at right tackle, but you guys have all been together. How comfortable are y'all with each other, I guess?
I feel like the chemistry keeps building every day. The things that we work on the details. We focus on the little things when it comes to the playbook. So when it comes to that, we make sure that we gel together. And when we're not on the same page, we talk it out. We try to figure out what's the issue and why aren't we connecting. And we all get really riled up. So it's like it's a good step in the right direction with the union, with adding Kane into it compared to Campbell from last year.
With how strong y'all finished last season, do you put on any pressure on yourselves to kind of live up to that standard, or is that just the standard?
So for us, we definitely made that the standard, obviously, from last year. And what we're trying to build on is obviously what we had from last year. So the bar's already set high, and we're ready to go work and get back to that standard, or even rise the standard even more for the next generation of offensive linemen or the union.
When you were coming into this group, how important was Coleton in terms of just kind of getting you used to everybody and kind of feeling a part of the union?
So I feel like Colin and Omar definitely helped me out. They made sure that I knew the plays. They asked questions. They reached out to me, made sure that I was on the same game plan as them. And if I wasn't on the same game plan, they'd chew my butt up and be like, look, man, hey, get your stuff together. This play, you do this, you do that. And I appreciate them, because if you don't have teammates that don't hold you accountable, you end up not being as focused or as locked into the details and the scheme of the play. So I'm just glad that I have teammates like that push me and put me in that right direction to succeed.
That way that you stepped in last year, was that your expectation? Maybe you expected to even be starting earlier, but was that your expectation? Did you surprise yourself?
So for me, I had a lot of haters coming into Baylor for my last school, and it was something that I kind of let that be like a chip on my shoulder, something to give me an edge. And so I looked at all the things that I did wrong in my old school and looked at myself in the mirror and told myself that I'll never put that type of stuff on film. And so whenever I got my opportunity to start, or even thinking about coming in to start, I knew that I was going to be prepared regardless of what the circumstances was. But I just needed to make sure that my coaches trusted me to, give my all to this team. So I was definitely well prepared, and I definitely made sure to do the right things and get the right calls and just get adjusted to the offense to kind of produce and make sure that things got flowing on my side of the ball.
Moved from guard to tackle
Yes,
this
sir.
season, and obviously you'd had experience at tackle before, but
Yes,
what
sir.
was that change like in the middle of the season, and how has that affected you going forward?
I would say the change made things a little bit better for me because I needed to learn the inside and out. So learning guard was easy to kind of transition to tackle because it was basically the same thing. I just needed to flip my mind and be like, okay, this is what the tackle does on this play. And things started to just move a little bit quicker in my mind. And obviously my past experience of playing tackle wasn't like something that was new to me. It was just more so, okay, you have to get adjusted to maybe send deeper into in space and stuff like that, or maybe some calls you don't pull and just things like that, just flipping my mind on things. So it just wasn't too hard for me to flip my mind when you kind of already embedded in the system at guard.
Does that, maybe you don't think that way, but does that help you at the next level? Like knowing you've played so many
Both.
spots on the line?
Yes, it definitely does, because I know that for me, last year I showed how versatile I could be. So going to the next level, if they need me to play guard, if they need me to play tackle, I'll be ready and be prepared for it. And I won't be surprised. So I'm just glad that I got that exposure and experience in college rather than at the next level, and then, had to kind of figure my way out and how I did last year.
Bryson getting all these awards recognition in some way, I feel, is giving y'all a lot of recognition as well too. When you see all of your backfield getting these award recognitions, how good does that make y'all feel?
Honestly, it makes me so good. Like anything for my QBs and running backs, like any type of awards, any type of achievements, I feel like it's like you said, it's a result of the offensive line of how much we persevered and we sacrificed all plays for him to kind of do his thing and get to that touchdown. So for us, it's a satisfaction thing. Just how I helped out Pendergrass for that one touchdown. Hey, it didn't count for me, but hey, it felt like I scored with them. So it gives me joy when my running backs can, do cool things and get out in space, and I know that my blocking's not going out for failure. I know that I'm making sure to get those holes open for them. So I'm just so glad that they can hit the holes and just give me 100 yards, give me 75 yards this play. Like it makes my job a bit easier when we're producing like that and running the ball like that.
Maybe there's a play for you to sneak out and catch a touchdown.
Oh Lord, man! I ain't gonna lie, that right there, man, that's a big man's dream, and I could just keep dreaming, but I doubt that'll happen though. I'm too slow. Yeah, I'm too slow.
How important is it for y'all to set the tone from the first snap against Auburn in the trenches?
For us, it's very important to be aggressive and also be smart and disciplined when we get into that game. We know that we're a very talented squad, and we know what we have on our squad. It's just more so about just tuning out the outside noise and kind of just worrying about what's going on in our facility and what's going on in our practices. And all we can do is worry about getting better and learning different stunts and different moves and stuff like that. So for the offensive line, like you asked earlier, the standard's the standard. We're trying to raise that standard up above and just keep fighting and be aggressive with everyone that we encounter.
Thank you, Sidney.
Thank you, guys. Have a blessing.
You too.